Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Silent Hill podcast. I thought I would mix one of these in while I'm wrapping up the Cryptids and Monsters series. This particular monster, if you could call it that, is next encountered within the Silent Hill 4, the Room video game, once again within the water prison. So I almost skipped this one because it's not really much of a deal when it comes to this particular monster. Not much info to give. It doesn't have much interesting items to state. But at the same time, my method is if something is in the Silent Hill game, then I'll talk about it, whether it's something big or small. So here is the video for it. In this case, it has to do with this very, I guess, uninteresting, plain leech-like creature known as the Tremer, what you're looking at a picture of here. Again, this is a creature encountered there pretty much in the water prison, but it's also found within other parts of the game. Probably the least dangerous monster within the entire game too. So here's all the information associated with it. So what is this Tremor? Well, basically it's just essentially a leech-like creature, that version of it within the Silent Hill world. So much like I was just talking about the other day with regards to those fungus-looking creatures, the ones that are also found within the prison world, this one is also another thing tied to a real-life, I guess, something that we would encounter here in our world, but converted to Silent Hill. So again, much like the toadstool, being much like mushrooms or fungus, in this case the Tremor is your average leech of some sort that you would find within any forest, within any, I guess, location whatsoever here in this world. And because of its, I guess, non-violent behavior, it's almost easy to just pass this creature along. In fact, it seems to be like it's a true testament of your character if you decide to do nothing to this Tremor. This is because of this. There's two versions of it. They're about a foot long or so on both of them, but one of them is the blue one, which is considered more of the negligible one. It's something that essentially doesn't really attack of some sort. It just stays still. But then there's the other one involving the, I guess, red variant. These are the ones that have closest thing in terms of any kind of attack, and that's because they drop from the sky or drop from the ceiling, and anytime you run into any of these, whether it's the blue or the red, and you're not stomping on them, let's say you're just touching them outright, then they cause just a minuscule amount of damage. So again, they're more of a nuisance of some sort, with the red variant being the more of the two because of its, I guess, attack being able to drop from the ceiling. Although even then, that's a loose version of an attack. It may just be accidentally just dropping from the sky, like, or dropping from the ceiling, much like when you have something else lying, or it's pretty much sitting on top of the ceiling, happens to drop off at the right time and it hits you like any kind of bug. Same concept, but you have that here. They do leave a trail of slime, it seems like, whenever they cross the areas, whether it be the walls, the floors, and the ceilings. And the only other distinction really is that red variant, if you step on them, then they create a weird splatter of some sort. It seems like it consists of the blood that it was in turn drinking from some of its other meals. So again, much like the toadstool, creating, I guess, feeding frenzy off of the corpses within the Silent Hill game, seems like these creatures do the same too. They'll just come across any corpse or any area where they feel there's like a meal of some sort, and then just basically congregate there and have a good time. And then that's why they have the blood essentially splattering everywhere when you hit it. As far as their actual, I guess, symbolism and what they're supposed to do, there's some versions of it here. For starters, there's the idea that they sometimes wag their tails towards Henry whenever he approaches them. It seems like this is a way of them acknowledging that he in turn is the predator, much as the other monsters are predators to Henry. So in a weird way, it's like a turnabout version of what you're experiencing there in Silent Hill. There you are running around trying to escape all these scary monsters, trying not to get damaged, trying not to get killed, and you consider yourself the victim within the game. Same concept, but in this case it's the Tremors who may consider themselves the victim because they in turn see Henry as one of these large apex predator-like monsters that may come across them and then cause them severe damage, even death. That's what I was mentioning earlier. Seems like it's almost like a testament to what someone does within the game, because you could just easily just walk across them, not do anything to them, avoid them. Even if they touch you from the ceiling, just go around them, and then essentially you're saving a quote-unquote life rather than just basically extinguishing it right then and there for no other reason other to extinguish it, because it's not really going to cause any other damage to you. Another way that it's supposed to be symbolizing things is that literally it's a parasite, again as an animal but also as a symbol. And this is because Walter could have been considered, as he was growing up, a leech of some sort, him having to live off of, in this case, that orphanage that he was at, and then having to be homeless, trying to essentially obtain, I don't know, food, money, gifts, whatever is the case, as he was growing up, and people were just seeing him as a leech of society. So that could be what this is too. There's a much more stronger direct symbolism though tied to a note that was provided within the game. Within it, it was stating something on the lines of him, presumably it's him stating that he had to drink something with black thing in it as he was growing up. So it implies the fact that when he was a child, he had a lot of abuse, in this case bullying abuse, and it came from people who forced him to drink something containing these black things in it, which are presumably leeches. So now in turn, with him creating his own Silent Hill world, he also adds these leeches either as a testament to what he had to endure when he grew up, or as just something like a throwback, something along the lines of, I'll just add this here because it makes sense within the Silent Hill world. Another idea too is that him also being a leech is the fact that he may have been considered a parasite to his mother. That's why he was abandoned early on as a baby, because she didn't want to deal with this parasite, what she saw him as, and that's why he was ultimately abandoned. And then one last thing, it may seem to be also symbolizing the influence that the cult that he grew up in there in Silent Hill had on him. So in other words, this religion, this sector, this cult creating a leech-like effect on him and vice versa. They're both having to hold on to each other, even though they may not acknowledge it, even though they may not like it, even if it's damaging like a leech usually is. They were still symbolizing their influence upon one another. But that's it. That's all the information really associated with this pretty nonchalant, pretty, I guess, uneven, not really memorable creature of some sort called the Tremer within the Silent Hill 4 The Room game. Interestingly enough, it has made an appearance within 2 other games. Considering this is something that there's a monster not really much to brag about, it was in in that game called Book of Memories, which you're looking at a picture of here, and then also it was involved in the Silent Hill the arcade game. This time it did take a more direct approach, where it was these leeches from the ceiling all raining down on the main characters of the game. So the Silent Hill arcade game being, of course, a shoot 'em up type first person game, you're having to shoot every minute essentially towards anything coming at you. These leeches or these tremors also do so because they'll fall from the sky, they'll fall from the ceilings just in very large numbers, and so you have to shoot at them, otherwise they'll latch onto the screen, i.e. you, and then start creating some damage. So alright everybody, thanks again as always, take care.